Good evening, guys.
Good evening, mate.
How are we?
Good, man.
Good, good. Awesome. So, we do have news again tonight, guys. So, it will be one to we can kind of watch, observe, monitor, see how it goes, then decide if we're gonna take any trades. So, we have 12 a.m. Um, 12 a.m. news here. See what happens. Red folder, so we should anticipate. It might be slow up until that happens, but we'll see if it's starting to price in beforehand. So this morning, it was only a very small trade this morning on Sydney. We had, it was very small. I took it anyway. Um, it was, against obviously the overall move itself. Little breakouts, only, 20 something pips, wasn't even that much, but our threshold being 20 pips, it was all right. So just a small trade, again, trading against the overall trade after the price had, peaked out. Um, a correction obviously was due. So took the trade here. But like I said, we had it earlier on break. News being news, we had a bit of movement, came back into the middle of that range and eventually closed out. I was out at 70, again, being all-time highs, I kind of take it in $5 increments. And it kind of peaked at, what did it get to? 78 before deciding to, you know, correct off from there. So, like I was saying last night, was even though price starts to push all the way up through these highs, if we create imbalance, if we create imbalance along the way, those areas tend to come back and get tested, right? So here we had a huge imbalance on the 4 hour. Right? Huge imbalance on the 4 hour where we pretty much went from 493 all the way up to 529, creating an imbalance of orders. We had price peak and obviously come back into those areas, right? So we noted out we had one here and we had one here. So is it that all these orders had moved and pushed up into this area? Possibly. Is it that these orders are still yet to come back and be filled? We shall see. But it's always if multiple are created along the way, usually your probability is always going to be towards the most recent area of imbalance, which this here was. So from here, obviously created after that correction, we also had imbalance coming back down, right? So it's price dropped down into this imbalance. And as it creates, it also price is pushing up into that imbalance, right? And it's really how the markets work, right? Imbalance is essentially an area where, liquidity is being held. So it's looking for where buyers or sellers can come into an area and fulfill their orders. So
Chase,
where
sorry, this morning did you take the candle flip or you never
no, no,
took the buy?
I traded the small 20 something pip range. I saw the candle was so small, but I'm like, yeah, it's
But you
okay.
didn't buy
Oh,
it, right? You didn't
hey,
take the buy for, you didn't take the buy first
I took
this
the buy.
morning.
I didn't take the long because I took the buy and then set a take profit and stop loss and then left it. So I didn't
Okay.
see it after that. I didn't have time to see it after that to take the flip. But the flip would have been nice on that as well. But I took the long and only closed out on 20 something pips profit.
Hmm.
But yeah, the flip on this morning would have been quite a decent drop. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
when you posted in the group, it says gold Sydney, but you posted one that says sell, not buy. So probably was a different one.
Um
Or that was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah.
I hadn't posted the one today.
Yeah,
Well, it's
cool.
only $400. Yeah, it's there. It's the last one. So
Ah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
a buy, 408. But yeah, the actual, the correction coming back down to this area of imbalance, that was even that flip would have been nice to trade. I didn't have time to trade this morning, so I didn't, I took that little one and just walked away. So now 1 hour, let's go back to 4 hour first. So yeah, so we're pushing into this area of imbalance now. So being that we've changed structure a little bit here, it's kind of 50-50, right? We could top out here at, roughly 60 and potentially correct down and create a lower high here, but that's over a longer time period. It will depend if we break this, 3561 supply area here, right? So we've got 3561 to get past before considering to trade back up to 70 or even higher than that. That's on the hourly, so we've got some, there's a bit of work to do yet. So we'll bring this back down, that, and get rid of that for now. And obviously we've got a bit of distance here to cover. Um, three. That was this part of that range. Then we had movement. So 3540 is our support. Do that first. So yeah, so wherever we end up today, ideally we push to 3560. That's going to be our breakout area 3561 to come up from there. We're currently 3551 to we're at a 70 pip candle at the moment, so interesting to see what happens there. Our US 30 really hasn't done a whole lot today. Been in a bit of a range here as we speak. So that's our support, that's our resistance there, and still in a bit of a range as we speak now. So quite a significant one, 275. 1 6. Yeah, so 110 at the moment on USD. But look at the range. Like, we don't trade the range. If this candle stays where it is here, we got to break this structure before we continue up, or we got to break this 35166, actually a little bit lower, 35150 for any kind of move down. The 4 hour is just not anything too exciting. 1 hour shows we got a lot of buyers over the last couple of days. So buying breakout, we've got imbalance here. Is it going to come up and grab this area? I'd be more inclined to take a buy on here. Again, depending what happens on gold as well. So we watch to see here. So we got greater 55, 3. 3, 5. Yeah, well, see a short below 3550, a break above 356, previous structure 362 roughly. Um, yeah, so that's where I'd be looking at 3550, 3,558. It's close. It's close to 100 pips, but see what happens. See what happens. Yeah, so that's a 4 hour flip candle. That's going to grab liquidity here. That's 15. That's 1 hour. Yeah, we break the structure. Do we take the, nah, they take the trade early. But I'd say that's what it's hunting here. Which means if this breaks 3,550, that's going to push up. Yeah, and then I guess it's news dependent from there. But ideally it stays within this range. Now that it's peaked at the top of this range at that previous structure, and it's pretty much bottomed at the bottom of this range. So a lot of indecision today. So this opening range here is a good indication that it wants to grab more liquidity before potentially heading back down, right? Because if we look at the current market or the current state of US 30, we've changed structure already. With this is our equal high, this is our low, but we broke our previous low, right? So we've got sellers trying to push price in, but we could be looking to grab liquidity first here. Grab that imbalance, and then that's the decision making out from here, which is you're going to have a bit of rejection to get past there first, but I would more so anticipate that would come up to come down. Oh, don't go yet. We got 3 minutes. Flip, flip, flip. Flip candle's good. That's liquidity. Okay. It's on the hunt. It's on the hunt. 44, last minute. I'm gonna break that 3,550. Just contemplating whether we need a close below 3,550. Pretty, solid number. Um, don't really have, yeah, we've got structure here to the left here. So yeah, but we've pushed down, we've come back up, we keep pushing down. That's going to set the range, I believe, that we should just continue down from here. Let's just see. 15. What's 5 look like? 5's pretty solid, bearish. 6. Okay, we're in we've got our opening range now. I would ideally come back first, but I think we may just push from here. So am I gonna take it? So we're opening. That looks like it's still moving to there. If we get a push 3548 70. Yeah, in. So partials here is 3544. Okay, so we have a 5-minute bearish engulfing close. We have a 15. Let's just mark that out now that we're here. That's our partial. That's our current TP. Get rid of that. Okay, so partials at the moment at 45. All right, so we're in at the moment here. Partials, it's gonna push. I think it's still gonna push. Forty-eight, 48. Yeah, 45. See, when you look at, $5 increments, we had a 50 break, we had a 45 rejection, where obviously partials at 40, roughly at 45. We'll see if we come up or we just push straight through here. US 30 still anticipated to come up here and grab this imbalance here, but we shall see. News in 11. What was the outcome there? So we had yeah, 54, so below, not good for currency. That's why we had that bit of a push down, pretty much at 11:45. What was it? 11:45. So that created that. Remember, lower is not good for currency. So not good for currency. We tend to have a shift. will be two. Um, we have news in 8 minutes, guys. So make sure if you did decide to trade again, usually red folder. We don't trade 1 hour either side, um, just because of fluctuations and how price moves. But if you're good with your risk and you can manage 1% or more, less, um, then by all means. So again, if you hadn't taken partials, you have options to take partials, but more importantly is having your risk in place. So '45 to '40. 6 minutes. It's really just hovering here, but that's quite a decent grab all the way through to 161 to flip in that opening range to 310. So quite a significant move, but I think like I said, I believe it's going to hunt this area here. And I guess news dependent may happen very quickly. Ideally, we can get this finished or closed before 12, but we shall see what happens. Oh, we got a little bit of imbalance here on this drop here, so we should, pull up to this. Might get a break, a retest, 550, and then depending what happens with news, pull us back down. 5 minute. Pushing, pushing. It's trying to get up. Little breakout here in US. Take that long. Take that long. Look. Are we above it yet? Three. It's definitely trying. It's probably waiting. Oh, is it there now? Now it is. So we've got 3 minutes left. Is that 3, 5, 6, 6? Anyone in gold or anyone taking US 30 or anyone just sitting out being smart and not trading news? It's like that spreads widening. US
I'm in
30.
gold,
Hey,
not you study. I'm in gold.
in gold,
I
yeah.
took the short. Yeah, took partials already. So
Took
worst
partials.
case, probably it's gonna be break even. Well, partial. Yeah,
Yep. Cool.
but my entry was at 48. Got
48, yeah.
a bit from.
Yeah, just below the opening range.
Mhm. You in the short too, or do you
Yeah, in the
you did
short.
not end? All right.
Did you take any partials?
Sorry?
Did you take any partials?
No, I haven't taken partials. 24 seconds. Let's see it. Ten, nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And got a bit of movement. Pushed all the way to 41. What happened? What do we get? Pending 52. Greater, good for currency. So we should have that push up and TP taken already on gold. So yeah, close at 3540.31. Hit TP, Fernando, for you.
Yes, yes. TP.
Cool, cool.
That was a quick one.
That was news, right? News, news.
And USD is pushing on the upside.
In session. Gold. Okay, that was me. So yeah, so we took the 3, 5, 4, 8, 2, 7. So roughly there on the breakout. And price pretty much hit partials TP at 3540.31. 3540.31. Yeah, pretty much on the dot, right? So again, like I mean, we did hit here um just, and then prices obviously were coming out, and then we had, news positive for US. So we had a bit of a spike here, but when I'm looking at taking profits um, on any trade, whether it's short or long, I'm always looking at previous structure over where this one-to-one is, right? Because I would rather lock in profit at a previous structure at a 0.8, 0.9, even 0.7, than try and then price come and then bounce back up from there. So that was very short-lived positive for US. Um, so yeah, that, guys, for news on Thursday. So looking at, let's change this up and change that US 30. Right, so 45, if you were looking at US 30. We have broken out from it here, but that doesn't mean the trades is done or finished. So being that our news is positive for currency for US, we've obviously had an initial spike here based on that news that came out, but if price comes back into the middle of the range and then starts to correct back out, depending how long it takes, if I'm still awake, we'll look for to take that up. So then we'll watch for a little bit, see if we get a chance to get in here. But yeah, but gold was pretty clean tonight. Although, again, this is why I say trading news with the orb is always going to be hit and miss. You just want to trade it as it breaks out. You're following the strategy, pretty clean, straight. You had enough allowance to, consider an area of where you would, take profit, right? So it had structure, it had the ability to take price down. The only time we're not taking trades mainly is when we're on the internal part of a structure, right? So if the box itself, right, is like this, and we have this kind of structure, and we're here, and we're, just say our range was here, anything that's approaching a resistance area, probability is never going to be in your favor as you come up to that area. If you're trading purely the orb, if you're using other strategies, other techniques, and this is where people can tend to go wrong using the orb strategies, because we tend to add our other thought process into how we trade the orb, right? Because when we understand technical analysis and Fibonacci and candlesticks and moving averages and order blocks and supply and demand and everything else that's technical out there, we tend to add that judgment into how we trade the orb strategy. When the reality is the orb strategy doesn't require any of that other than being able to identify a trend, right? Are we in a trend? Are we in a range? Are we breaking outside of that opening range? Like, that is as simplified as the open range breakout strategy is. It is what it says it is, opening range breakout, right? So if it's an opening range, which was here today, and the breakout happened to the downside, then your only thing that you're looking for is, where is next structure? Where is price likely to be held if I take a short, right? Where is it most likely to be held if I take a long? Well, at all time, well, actually it dipped down below, but it would be, if I take a trade here to the upside, Where am I going to get held up? That's all we're looking at. So if we look at, let's forget gold for a minute because we're done there. If the USD now recovers out of this, out of the middle of the range, and we price starts to reverse, there may be a opportunity to get into the trade. If that doesn't happen in the next however long, then it's an okay. And then tomorrow morning, Friday, 7, where is it? Nothing. FOMC member speaks, so it might have a little movement in the morning there, but not a whole. It shouldn't be too dramatic. So quite a significant plunge. So for that to flip and price come out of that, that's going to be yeah, pretty strong breakthrough if it does come from there. So we've got structure to the left. Okay. BTC. Oh, BTC fell off a cliff. Big break of structure, big recovery to that point, and we close bearish tomorrow morning or by tomorrow morning, then expect to push down to at least this structure first, and then we may see 100,000 again. Pretty solid bearish momentum here after breaking that 112 range. So we had a top range here, between 112 and 124 was our top range, and now we broke, retested that down. So we close bearish tomorrow. Bearish engulf here. We'll have a bit of a pullback. We should have a bit of a pullback, and then expect further continuation back down to 108. And then from there, 100, well, earlier 104 first, and then if we can't hold up 104 and get rejection, then 100 again. Gonna have a trade here? Yes, possibly. 319. So decent move on that initial range, but now we come to break this 45323. Again, this, what is it, 12, 13. Yeah, expect to see further momentum back up to this imbalance here. Kind of dipped up, but wasn't really a whole lot. Yeah, BTC, BTC. Did we get enough momentum up in the next 15 minutes? Yeah. ZXRP. Oh, big top, head and shoulders. Top of range correction due, hey? We had a break already, so getting a close below 2.8 on XRP, that's a pretty solid short. Yeah. That is a pretty decent structured change if we can get below that area. You can see here, every time we bounce that 280, we pretty much bounced off, right? Bounced off, bounce, bounce. We on underneath, we kind of dived a little bit deeper, and now we're at that same point, right? So 2.8 seems to be a breaking point for XRP, and the overall trend is very much bearish. So if you're holding XRP or looking to short XRP, all right, we've got their first target and then 2.75. Puts us at like 2 to 1. Yes, a lot of retail is going to be watching this. Ethereum also top range, bottom range, trend. It's in a pretty, it's in its middle range here. So being that it's bearish now in the 4 hour, we should complete this back down to 4257 first, but we're still in a, in a sideways range. The key area here is going to be 4250. We get below 4250. We'll have one more shot at bouncing of 4212, where we had this big area of demand here. And if we can't hold there, 4,000. So those are the stages that I'm looking at on crypto at the moment on how they react at these points. So I don't know, we're going to get that action before 12:30 here.
Are you waiting for it to come back and break on the upside to grab that to fill in the orders in that fair value gap?
Sorry,
The
what's that?
study? So are you waiting for it to break on the upside and grabs the liquidity of that fair value gap? Uh, yeah, on that box?
Yeah, yeah. So on US 30 again, it's quite a significant move that happened on that opening range. So it's the candle itself is quite large, right? 4516. So it is a higher risk trade to the upside, and you're not gonna, well, I'm not gonna say you're not going to, but targeting a 1-to-1 is just putting you in a higher risk bracket if we get a breakout from here. But if we do get a breakout from here, pushing into 45.4, there's still quite a significant move if we can flip out and then push back out from here. So one to watch if, well, see the top of that rejection point is at 45365, but the actual imbalance is going to be amongst it in this area here. So a 35400 would be a nice takeout. Right, so roughly around there. I mean, if you want to decrease your risk, if it does push out from here, you're bringing it back down to 45233, right? Instead of having it at the bottom of that opening range. Because if we flip from here, if we peaked out, we've come back down, and we're breaking that structure again, the chances of it getting below this area is going to be quite slim before it hits your target, right? Because this here is taking a lot of volume to be able to break it through this level to continue to push it back up. Usually you have, a bit of a sell-off and then a lower higher that would be created in this area. But if we recover straight out from this, usually, and that's where you see, a fake out tend to occur, and usually at a support area or a resistance area, is price will come down quite significantly, and then retail is expecting this, right? So we should have a lower high, but if the candle closes up quite here and then the next candle breaks, well, then we've got a lot of people getting faked out here to then continue that next move up. So for me, yes, I understand retail and how a lot of traders will be thinking, and it could very well just come back into here to play. But I'm going on the basis that if it doesn't do this and it just maintains and continues back up, or even if it hits that high and creates a higher low, that we get a break to then push up from here, right? Because it's not dipping down. It's not going like this to go like that to then go like that again. Like that's, I mean, while possible, is not likely, right? It's more likely that we're needed more liquidity to break through this level. So it's pushed down to then um, grab more to then continue back up from here, because most of the orders in this imbalance is going to be in this top part, not in a range where there's uncertainty, right? This is uncertainty. This is an area where they could grab more orders, even if it's to continue down, or if there's enough to continue up. But even if it's to continue down, they have a better chance of fulfilling their orders. So if you think institution, they're thinking, well, where can I place my orders to fulfill hundreds of millions? It's going to be where there's imbalance, right? So this is a 4-hour imbalance. That means that there's most likely for them going to be a whole lot of stop losses, sells, buys, everything in this area for them to get in and make a decision whether they're going up or down from here. And why is it there? And why does that also take into consideration? Well, because also on top of that, what is retail doing? Retail's going, well, this is my drop and this is my recovery. There's a lot of traders that are going, okay, well, that's in between a 60 and 78 area. So yeah, so a target of 45.4 is probably more likely, because retail is also thinking that if we get past the 78, then my stop losses are hit and we're actually done. Or we're looking to short at this area as well. So, but being that it's 1 hour imbalance, that's pretty good area for a large amount of money to come into if they're looking to either short or long, right? They don't just go, okay, we're going to place orders here. It's where can we grab from? Which is why when you hear like really old school traders, like that have been doing it for many, many years, they're like, think about where your entries are and place your stop loss, think about where your stop losses are and place your entries there. Because the mentality of a retail trader is, okay, I'm going to short here. I'm going to place my stop loss here. The the guys that have been in the game for a long time that understand how institution buyers there, I'm going to place my order here and I'm going to place my stop loss here, right? So it's just taking it that next level apart. If your thought process is to short in this area, and having a stop loss here, well, they're like short here and have a stop loss up here. And there'll be times I've heard them say there'll be times where your orders don't get filled, but you have less chance of losing trades when you think in the opposite of how retail would trade, or how you as a trader you would usually trade technical analysis, right? Here we go. So if you missed gold and you're looking to get into US 30, those are the considerations of our opening range, which is here. We had price come back down into the middle of the range and price now break out from it, right? This is how a lot of other traders trade the orb strategy. They don't take it on the initial breakout. This is again just data collection, right? I've tried many different strategies on how to trade the orb. One is take the initial break. Two is a little retracement first, then take the break. Three is into the middle of the orb first, and then if it continues in that same direction, then it's confirming the direction of the opening range, right? There's a handful of ways that you can trade the orb. I just found that, if you overcomplicate it too much, you then don't end up taking a trade. So let's see how we go. 4,400. So 4,400, 45,400 would be a initial. Yeah, 45,400. That's almost like partial. It's not that much. It's moving essentially 50. Okay, so what is gold doing? Gold. What a run. 3,315 all the way up. Oops. So 1 hour. Oh, bearish. Could have another short. Again, we're looking at the structure here, right? And that 3, 5, 3, 5, 3. Yeah, 3, 5, 3, 5. That 15, 4 minutes. Three, 5, 2, 4. watching to see what happens here before I turn it off in a couple of minutes and see if we get a break here. It's all signs to bearish, 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 bearish. So next, another break of that. Might take another short, but again, this is not now using the orb show. The orb is done, right? We've traded gold, we've traded the orb. This is more just if we're continuation of letting the trade go. Two minutes. Twenty seconds. So it don't look like we're going to get anything on gold here. Looks like we're holding within that range at 3535. And next candle here. Small top wick, not too bad. We should retrace, even if we retrace first 273 and then flip within the same candle. Actually here, yep. Oh, well, it's okay. The close bullish out from here. So bullish engulfing on the 15, that's already good. So we've got 12, 30, 30, huge bottom wick to feel the top of this range and then push into that imbalance. So yeah, we had, positive. So we should push out from here. So again, guys, it's not gonna be a full one-to-one trade. Well, based on risk, it wouldn't be a full one-to-one trade out from here. And I'm saying that purely based on the imbalance that we have in this area, right? So taking it full one-to-one, I mean, even to the top of this imbalance is gonna be there. So even in saying that, it's still not even full trade out from there. So don't use this. And again, trading during news or post and pre-news is always going to be riskier than usual. But this is pretty solid with the opening range, right? We had a quite a significant drop first. That there was nice bullish momentum. We ranged for a bit, we dropped, we flipped in that same candle, which is positive. We closed bottom wick here and we're moving towards that momentum now. So here for me, I'd be happy with a 45,400 close. So see how she goes. See how she goes. Looks like